Hey everyone, welcome to my review for the Rubicon UC3, and this ball is very interesting to say the least. Honestly, after 5 shots, it feels like you've just dumped it in a bucket of oil and it doesn't want to hook, and you try and throw it down the line and it just keeps skidding forever. You'll be able to see over the progression of the next few shots the difference in the hook potential. It just doesn't want to make it back to the pocket and go through the pins or do anything. It's honestly super strange, and I just don't understand it. I mean, the urethane cover stock is definitely not urethane. Urethane to me doesn't absorb oil, and this does it, but it's at an extremely slow rate. So you need to leave it at least for 5 to 10 minutes for it to actually absorb all the oil and feel like a fresh cover again. It feels like a really dead reactive. That's honestly how it feels after maybe 10 to 20 games. I think that's how many games I have on it. Keep in mind that this is a 40-foot, 5-to-1, 17 mil house shot, so there is literally no excuse for the ball not to make it back to the pocket. Comparing it to the Pink Widow urethane, which is an asymmetrical proper urethane, it is a lot earlier, it reads the mid lane a lot more, and I don't think it has as much back end as the UC3. It looks like it in this footage, but I really don't think it does. And the reason I say that is because a UC3 straight out the box hooks like a ton off the back end. It looks like some reactive thing off the back end. It's not like a Wolverine back end motion. It's definitely not as much as a reality or another solid reactive, but it's more than what a urethane is typically. So yeah, it's quite interesting. See, if you leave it for 5 minutes, this is 5 minutes later, over the same line as before, and I hooked a ton more, and then 5 shots later I had to bowl two-handed at a slower pace just to get it back to the pocket. If we move over to the sports shot, which is going to be Autobahn, which is a 42-foot, 25 mil, 2.44 to 1 pattern, it actually doesn't look too bad. I was quite surprised. I thought it wasn't going to hook at all, and it actually started to hook a little bit more than I thought. Was it a good ball reaction? No. Would I rather use another ball in this? Absolutely. But something quite interesting happens a little bit later on. Once I slow down my ball speed, things actually start to look a little bit better. If I keep it tight to the head pin, it kind of makes it back, but it hits flat like that 7 pin, and yeah, things start to look a little bit interesting. But yeah, I'm carrying, and I'm quite surprised that it actually hooks as much as it does right now, but I am still struggling to make it back to the headpin. I'm still struggling to get that back in motion. This is a 4-step approach, and it only just makes it back, and I can't get the ball any more than 3 to 4 boards away from the headpin. Well, it feels like that. I know it's a little bit more before it starts to, not do anything. But as soon as I chuck a 180 pad on it, the thing comes to life. Honestly, it feels like a completely different ball. It's picking up the mid lane and it's driving. It wasn't a full 180 grit surface, but it was just a light little scuff with it across my track. So probably wouldn't be legal in competition. But hey, I just wanted to see what it would do. And to my surprise, it actually looked amazing. My execution in this footage is terrible. I'll just say that I cut out so many shots because I was missing my target, everything, it looked terrible. But if we throw the Pink Widow on this pattern as well, it actually doesn't even look that good. I just didn't really have a good ball reaction. It looks good on that shot, but if I didn't ace it off my hand, it was not carrying. And I'm only showing good footage here now apparently, but there were a lot of bad shots like that one. As soon as I got straight up the back of it, it did nothing off the back end, and I really had a little room for error. Otherwise it would hit flat. And yeah, it was just quite a weird ball reaction. Personally, I would not even want to try and throw urethane on this pattern. If I would, it would probably be a purple hammer. The head started to die, and a lot of carry down started to be created because of the UC3 straight out, well, the service that I had it, because it was sliming up. So as soon as it got to the dry boards, it just kept laying down oil and oil and oil. And I tried to throw my reactives after filming, and honestly, it didn't want to do anything. So it was quite an interesting ball reaction. My Pink Widow looked okay. The UC3 looked okay once I put service to it, but personally I wouldn't choose any of these optionals on this pattern. I'd probably go to my reality or my insight. You can even see there, it just picked up so early, and it just looks very interesting. But as soon as I leak it left, it barely wants to make it back to the head, but I'm surprised that it did. If we throw the purple hammer, we get a pretty good ball reaction like I thought. It gets through the heads a little bit cleaner, as the purple hammer does, and it still has quite a bit of energy for the back end. And for me to leave an 8-pin on a 42-foot pattern with urethane, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, I mean, I was hitting a little bit too high, but yeah, the ball reaction was not too bad, and it made it through the carry down. It leaked it a little bit left, kind of came back. So this was definitely the best ball reaction I had with my urethanes. But yeah, as you guys can see, the UC3 is trying to come back from there, and it looks pretty good. Like I said, I wouldn't want to choose this ball reaction over anything else, but as soon as I hit it with that 180, it actually came to life. So yeah, this ball is very interesting, and if you do have one, I would recommend hitting it with surface. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.